Florida 33463, and their number is 888-640-2006. Now, when you go to the website, though, it's a different address. They're in Fort Lake, Florida. So there you go. But anyway, we had a deal to move my belongings from Las Vegas to Copper's Cove, Texas, where I am. We left because if we hadn't, we would have run into some icy sheets in New Mexico. So we left. They went to the apartment to pick up our things. We contracted them for $1,060. We paid $531.35 down. And when the movers got there, some gentleman named Carlos called me on the phone and said he was from dispatch. He was there to pick up our belongings. I had the landlord unlock the door, and this man claimed that I had more than the square footage I contracted for. Now, mind you, it was just $65, 65 boxes or less, plus the queen size bed, my computer stuff, and everything else was in boxes. So he asked me about the tables. If he had to bring the tables, it was going to be extra. So I said, don't worry about it, leave it. I said, just take the bed and the boxes and the other stuff that was there. So when he said we had more square footage, he said it was going to cost an extra $400 in order for him to load it. My husband got on the phone because he's been doing construction since he was a kid, working with his dad, and told him, I know square feet. You're going to stack up. You're not going to stack out. And even if you put the bed on the side, it still would not be over the square footage in which you said we did not contract for. Then the man said, well, I got to have $500 for my expenses to drive it from here to there. So my husband was like, well, that'll put us over the contract. Then we went ahead and said, okay, we'll Zelle him the $500, which we did the night before, that night, because it was late when he called. The next day I get up and the Zelle money didn't go anywhere, so after my husband called him, there was no response. So I canceled it and took my $500 back. I said, well, if he wants his money, he'll call. Then I looked at the text message that I got from the gentleman in the first place. I went to text him and ask him where was our stuff. He said that it wasn't him and he didn't know who I was. And then told me that he was going to have the police, contact me for harassing him, and then told me to call Sawgrass at the end of the text. Now, I got a text message from this man telling me he was a driver. So when the guy called us back the next following Friday and said that we needed extra money in order for him to take the load, my husband said, you know what, forget it, leave it. Just lock the door, don't do anything, leave it. We'll make other adjustments. Then I get a text message the next day from my landlord in Vegas asking me, well, we still in the apartment, and had him go over and look at it, and our stuff was gone. So these people who were told to leave it took it and put it on the truck. Anyway, then I get a text message from them saying, after 4 days of no contact, oh, your stuff is in transit, it's on the truck, yada, 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 yada. 3 days after that, we hear from no one. Every time we call, it's always sent a voice message. We leave a message. We don't get a call back. Then I get a text message that repeated the last text message, which I can't believe that they double sent it to me as if that was going to work, and had the audacity to tell me to call Jamie at the phone number that they were texting me on, which is the one I called, which didn't make any sense. Then I finally got a representative on the line and asked her how much was the balance of our stuff, and she said $575. The next following Friday, and they seem to always call on a Friday, I got a call from another quote-unquote dispatcher. This one said that our stuff was in a warehouse and that we needed to pay $600 more and some odd cents in order to get it. So then after going back and forth, my husband was like, what is the final cost? He said $916. He said, okay, fine. 3 days after that, no contact, no call. I'm like, where's our stuff? Where's our stuff? Have you heard from the dispatcher? No contact, no contact, no contact. Then yesterday, we got a call. This is from a so-called dispatcher. Now, check this out. He gonna call and tell me that it's gonna cost $700 to get our stuff out of the warehouse for him to put it on a truck, and he needs an additional $600 when he gets here. So I'm like, that is well over the amount that we agreed to pay. Not gonna happen. You won't take the $916 that we had originally contracted for. And now you're asking for more than the contract. And you left some stuff behind. So no, I'm not doing it. So Sawgrass, guess what? You are ransoming my belongings. You were told to leave them. By you removing them from the property, you stole them from me on purpose and hoping that my sentimentality was going to drive me to pay the outrageous ransom that you're asking for my personal belongings, hoping that I'm that sentimental. Well, guess what I am? That was my mother's picture in that load that passed away. My father's only autographed portrait to me. Pictures of my children when they were babies that were gone. Mine and my husband's birth certificates. The certificate of our children. Our personal belongings. My clothes. My shoes. My computer, for God's sake. You have all of that. And yes, it is based on sentimentality that I'm doing this because you got me fucked up. If you think that I'm just going to sit here and be upset and cry about being theft upon and not do anything about it, then you really got me fucked up. I'm a senior citizen and I hate to even admit that shit. But I'm also a pastor. Get this. Gotta get you. So I'm going to continue to talk about Sawgrass. I'm going to continue to do whatever social media outlet I have to talk about you because I'm not the only person that this has happened to. I have read the reviews on your website. I have heard how you jack the price up once you get there to pick up equipment or pick up belongings, and that sometimes you return them either damaged or missing, like jewelry. I am fed up with people who think that they can treat people this way. You cannot mess with God's child and not get something back. You will get this back. And I'm just going to give you a little help. So here's my sentimentality. You are past the 14-day window that you were supposed to have according to the contract to bring me my stuff. Being that you're past the 14 days, now you're holding my stuff hostage and asking for a ransom amount that's even more than the contracted amount because you feel that you can, because you think I care so much about it, that I'm just going to go ahead and pay it and say, what the hell? Well, guess what? I'm not. So now that since you are out of contract and in breach, I have recorded this as stolen property and have taken the proper legal steps, which means I file a police report in Las Vegas. If I have to file one here in Texas, I will. I've already sent a review over to the Better Business Bureau, and I sent you a nasty ass, well, let me pull back. I sent you an email with a copy of what I sent to the Better Business Bureau to your so-called CEO. I've also contacted the newspaper in Las Vegas, which is Fox 5 News. I've contacted the television station here in Texas. I've already contacted a news personality in Florida in your area, so you might be hearing from them. And I'm going to keep this up until you bring me my stuff or you refund my money. I don't care. I really don't. At this point, I don't care. So this will continue until you get in contact with me. I'm out.